everybody, what is up? It's Berlin and I'm back with another video for you. This one is a really kind of impromptu video. I really wasn't planning to sit down and record this tonight, but I've just pretty much got back from work and I've seen an interview with Travis Scott. So Travis Scott has finally spoken, and it was an interview that went up on YouTube whilst I was at work today. So I didn't actually know anything about this interview until I got home today, and I saw it pop up on YouTube. And yes, I want to talk about it because there are things in there that are not quite adding up for me. And you know that I've covered the whole ASTROWORLD tragedy. If you're a regular subscriber, viewer of my channel, then yes, you'll know I've made several videos on the ASTROWORLD tragedy. So this is something I absolutely wanted to cover. So you know, I've got the trusty drama notebook out for this one. Now, this is my drama book, so anytime there's a YouTube video that's kind of important to like YouTube drama stuff or whatever, this is what I do. I don't script, but I just tend to like write notes. So this book is full of notes of YouTube drama and all that good stuff. So this video that came out today with Travis Scott, it was a 40-minute video. I sat down and watched it while I was eating my dinner so that I could then come and make this video for you guys. A bit of a recap and a bit of a kind of my thoughts on the whole interview.
What's your intention with this conversation? Like what do you hope to get out of this, or what do you hope to get out?
I don't personally have an intention. I just feel like something happened, and I feel like it's just I needed just a way to kind of like communicate, you know?
Mm-hmm. The interview was with somebody called Charlemagne the God on YouTube. Now, I'd never heard of this YouTuber before, but allegedly he's like an old school rapper or something who didn't have much of a big rap career. I don't know, but Travis Scott was being interviewed by this guy, Charlemagne the God, and it's like, okay, the questions that the interviewer was asking, I thought were very kind of, a lot of them were very kind of easy for Travis Scott to answer. Easy for Travis Scott to give answers that he could kind of get himself out of things, and easy for Travis Scott to give answers that would place blame at other people's feet.
One, you know, the families are grieving, you know, it's fans that experienced something, it's fans that came to a show. You know, and I feel like I just have like I've always been that person to always see things through with the people that shared experiences with me. And, you know, it just, things happen, and, you know, I just kind of, you know, it's been such a time, and I've just been trying to just really figure things out, you know.
I know you, I'm sure you experiencing remorse, but was there any hesitation to have this conversation because of the litigation you may be facing?
Well, I mean, yeah, of course you got people that's just like, oh, what? Like, you know, but it's not about that. You know, it's, you know, you're an artist, you, whoever people think you are, but at the end of the day, you're a human being, you know, and you have emotions. You want to communicate them emotions, you know.
So something that was really kind of interesting to me in this interview from the off was when the interviewer asked Travis about how he'd been coping with all of the backlash since ASTROWORLD, how he'd coped with the trauma, all this stuff. Travis' response was, oh, I've kind of been locked in a room, you know, I've been in a room, and that was pretty much all he said. But then the interviewer did kind of catch him out on that one when the interviewer brought up the fact that Travis Scott had been seen out at a golf course, very exclusive golf course, members only type of deal, you know the thing. So Travis was seen out at this members only golf club with Mark Wahlberg and Michael Jordan. It's like, okay, so Travis Scott thinks he's been in a room feeling remorse for the grieving families and all of this. Travis Scott thinks he's really been going through it, but yeah, at Thanksgiving he went out to golf with Michael Jordan and Mark Wahlberg. And Travis' excuse that he gives for this is very much like, oh, well, yeah, that it was Thanksgiving. It was a personal thing for me. I'm like, how does this work? You know, what about the families who actually lost loved ones here? You know, what about their Thanksgiving? I'm sure that they couldn't enjoy their Thanksgiving. But Travis Scott thought it was a-okay to go out and enjoy his Thanksgiving with Mark Wahlberg and Michael Jordan, no less. It's like, okay, so you're saying that you were locked in a room and that you felt remorse, but yet there you were at a members-only exclusive golf club with Michael Jordan, Mark Wahlberg, doing your thing, enjoying yourself, taking selfies. I don't know about this one. I'm like,
You said you was in the room, but then people saw you at the golf course.
Yeah,
with Michael Jordan and Mark Wahlberg. What was that?
It was just Thanksgiving. You know, and they were there. You know, just good people to have around in the community.
What was that? It was just Thanksgiving. You know, and they were there. You know, it was just good people to have around in the community.
From then on in the interview, Travis Scott was going on about how he wanted to be a voice for the people, meaning, you know, the public, people who buy tickets to events like ASTROWORLD and other festivals. He wants to be a voice for people and kind of, you know, make a change so that people can go to festivals safely and be safe at festivals. It's funny how that's his concern now. Now that something has happened at one of his own festivals, there was no concern for that before with Travis Scott. You know, we've seen footage, I've even put footage in my own videos of Travis Scott doing things like encouraging fans to jump from a balcony where there's really been no concern for their safety. We've seen things like Travis Scott encouraging people to rage. There's also little clips like this where Travis Scott is being really kind of homophobic at his own gigs.
I ain't cool with none of you faggots who just sitting here looking like a bunch of queers.
So I'm like, I don't believe these words that Travis Scott is saying in this interview. If you're somebody who's going to get on stage in front of your audience, you're going to be homophobic, using the F slur, using queer as a slur, you know, as something to kind of insult people who are not jumping around or moshing or doing what you want them to do at your gig. If you're going to do that, and if you're going to encourage fans to jump off balconies, risking their own safety, then don't you think you should accept some of the blame for people going crazy at your own gigs? Because that is what you are encouraging. That's what you're inspiring your audience to do. You know, you're up there being homophobic, encouraging people to rage, encouraging people to jump off balconies. It's like, you know, some of this is Travis Scott's responsibility, in my opinion. You know, the stuff that he has done in the past at his own gigs definitely plays a role in how his fans will feel when they come and see a Travis Scott show. You know, a lot of his fans will have that energy because they get it from him. You know what I'm saying? A lot of his fans will come to his shows with that mentality of, oh yeah, we're going to rage and whatever, because that's how he's built his audience to be. That's how he's kind of trained them. You know what I mean?
I've always cared about, you know, the fans. I don't give a, you know, it's about them.
In this interview, Travis also said that he knew nothing about the casualties, the fatalities that were going on while he was up on stage at ASTROWORLD Festival. He says he knew nothing. He didn't know anything at all about it. But the interviewer did mention to him, hold on, but you know, at one point you actually stopped the show because you saw somebody who was passed out, being carried out of the crowd, you know, out over the barrier at the front. And Travis did stop it that one time. He did stop the show that one time and say, oh hey, we need a medic over here, or whatever it was he said. But he did stop it that one time. But then the interviewer went on with Travis talking about that and saying, oh well, you know, yeah, there was a couple of times where you stopped the show and you definitely wanted your fans to be safe, you know. So the interviewer, I felt, was kind of making excuses for Travis. And then Travis was talking about why he didn't hear the crowd screaming for help, why he couldn't hear what the crowd was saying, everything like that. But the interviewer said, but hang on a minute, like, when the songs stopped, you know, during breaks between songs, your audience were screaming for help and Travis is just saying that, yeah, he couldn't hear any of it. He couldn't hear it. He didn't know. You know. So it's kind of like he's just trying to, I feel, absolve himself of any kind of responsibility here. You know, he went on to talk about how the festival organisers played a big part in it and everything, and how he feels that the professionals should have done more and be the ones to really shoulder it. He did say that he felt sympathy and that he would be there for the families that have lost somebody, lost loved ones. But at the same time, he was really talking about the professionals, you know, being NRG Stadium, Live Nation, Apple, the organisers, all of this. He feels that those people should be the ones to really kind of shoulder the blame for what actually happened at the festival, the way that it happened, the way that everything was organised, and that he doesn't really think he should be villainised. Then they got into talking about the whole business side of it, because of course it is a business, you know. So when the interviewer asked him, he asked Travis, how would you feel if, you know, people stop working with you? Would you care?
And so, and anytime I've ever done anything corporately, that's just how I've always been. It's just like, yo, we want to go do things to make sure that the people that are experiencing this product is having the best experience. It's not about, you know, what we could do, like the numbers, like, you know, that's not what we chase here. We chase for people to have the best experience. You know, we want people to enjoy themselves. We want people to walk away with like just ideas, like, wow.
There's no permanent friends or enemies in business. So, you know, if anybody decides to back away from Travis Scott on a corporate level, do you care?
No.
So this interview was really a lot of Travis Scott saying, well, hey, I'm only the artist, I'm only the creative, you know, I only deal with the creative side of things, so what happened isn't my fault. It was very much that, although he did kind of say over and over and over again that he wants to be there for the families, you know, it's all about them. He wants to be there for the families who've lost somebody. He kept repeating that, but the way that he was trying to go about it, I feel, was really wrong. It was just really like, okay, well, I'm only the creative, I'm only the artist, so I'm only a human, so I can only do so much, you know. It was like the typical kind of I'm being cancelled kind of response that we see from people like YouTubers, you know, when they make a YouTube apology video. It was giving me very much that energy, honestly. It was very much, oh, I'm only human, you know, oh, I'm just a creative, oh, I'm just an artist. You know, I don't have anything to do with the planning of the festival. It was very much that. So he's putting the blame for the planning of the festival on everybody else. But he says that, oh, well, people are going to villainize me because they've been doing that since the beginning of my career. So he said he's used to that. But at the same time, I feel like he wasn't really understanding his part in this whole picture. You know, I feel like he really wasn't understanding. As I said a little bit earlier in this video, I feel like he wasn't getting the fact that he is responsible for the atmosphere that he's created with his audience because of the way that he himself acts on stage. You know, I feel like he really wasn't taking that into account. You know, the fact that he encourages his audience to rage, the fact that he encourages people to jump off balconies and everything. Like I said earlier, Travis Scott in this interview was taking no responsibility for any of that. And that is what I think some of the problem is. You know, yes, poor planning. We can talk about poor festival planning on the behalf of the organisers, promoters and everybody else. Yes, we can talk about that because, of course, all of that is part of it. That is part of the problem. But it's also part of the problem that Travis is being Travis when he's encouraging people to act the way that he wants them to act, when he wants people to mosh and rage and go crazy. When you've got an audience of 50,000 people, how can you do that and think that there's not going to be any harm caused? Do you know what I mean? He was in this interview denying that his fans were there to cause any harm, which, you know, of course, nobody really goes to a festival thinking, oh, I'm going to cause harm to people. But, you know, when you're at a festival and you've got like your favourite music artist on stage and they're hyping the crowd up, like Travis Scott does, then that creates a certain kind of energy within the crowd. You know, the crowd changes, the mood shifts, and it becomes this thing that's like this unstoppable kind of beast, you know, this monster. Everyone is feeling it, everyone is in the moment, everyone is going crazy. And then you just get that surge forward. I've been at many festivals where this has happened, you know, you're standing there in the crowd and you get that surge forward and the whole crowd is being pushed towards the front barrier. I've had it happen, you know, I've been watching Rage Against the Machine at Reading Festival, and let me tell you, my feet were that much off the ground for their whole entire set. This is back when I was like, what, 16 years old? So, you know, I was a little bit smaller than I am now. My feet during the Rage Against the Machine set were that much off the floor the whole time because I was sandwiched in between people. And as the crowd was moving, I was moving along with it like that. So, like, you know, Travis Scott, when you've got an audience of 50,000 people and you've got a whole history of encouraging your fans to really, really rage, to be homophobic, to jump off balconies, all of this, yes, that is going to play a part in it. So Travis needs to man up and admit that he is something to do with this tragedy. He is part of what happened. He is part of the cause of these people's deaths. One thing that got talked about in this interview, which I actually thought was actually pretty cool, was when they were discussing how do you think we can solve this problem and stop this kind of thing from happening again. One thing that came up was Travis Scott actually said, well, festival goers have a wristband, you know, which is scanned when you go into the festival. So upon entry, your wristband is scanned, right? That's pretty kind of standard practice for most festivals at the moment. So Travis said, well, what about if you had like a wristband that was monitoring heart rates and all of that stuff, you know, technology wise, which I think that would be an amazing idea. That would be something that could actually potentially save people's lives when they're at these festivals. You know, you could do a wristband, if you had the technology, you could do a wristband that would tell people if they were getting sunburn, monitor their heart rate, all of this kind of stuff. You know, you could have that if you had the technology, and if it was figured out properly, that is something that could really, really be done to help keep people safe at festivals. I think that would be awesome. You know, I think that's something that definitely needs like looking into from the part of festival organizers, you know, really get into that and try and make it so that people can then just go to the festival and they've got their wristband so they know like the temperature, you know, they know like their heart rate, all this kind of stuff in there. That would really, really help. You know, it might not fix the problem completely, but it would really help. So guys, I'm going to stop this little video right here. I'm going to say take care, stay safe, stay well. Please do let me know all your thoughts. And if you want to go and watch this interview with Travis Scott, then it is up on YouTube. Just search for Travis Scott interview and it pops up for you. So I'm going to go. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, stay safe, stay well. Sorry I look like this today, you know, I haven't had the luxury of time to put makeup on and everything, but I will be back soon with more videos for you. So I'm working like tomorrow early and everything, so I've got to be up early for that, but I will be filming more after tomorrow, so the weekend, and possibly Friday evening as well. So I'm going to say love you guys, take care, let me know all your thoughts, and I'll see you soon. Bye.